Welcome to the Smoke Pit.
Hey.
So we had a fantastic debate on our Instagram.
And Facebook.
Young Michael here, my co-host, Mike Sensi, myself, Dan Sharp. We got some guests with us today, but we'll get to that later. Our executive producer.
Welcome, friends.
That's right.
No, this is a family business right now. Our executive producer, I forgot his name.
Fuck. Stedbro
I was just blank with anger right
That's
now.
fair. That's fair.
And so we post a question on our social media. Mike, take it away.
Yeah. So, pretty much we shot out the question that divided my old battalion. I lost friends over this debate. Who wins in a fight between a grizzly bear and a silverback gorilla? Now, me being a learned doctor, I decided that the silverback would win
easily
because of the opposable thumb.
Yeah, thumb in the eye,
100%.
you know, and like and he can like cup the testicles and rip.
Exactly.
And have you seen how strong silverback gorillas are?
They rip up like tree roots from the ground.
They can fucking
like
lift a Volkswagen Bug.
100%.
Like one of the old ones.
They fuck for sure.
Yeah, no shit. Like fun fact, those bugs the old ones actually float in water.
Do what?
They float in water. The old Volkswagen Beetles.
How do you know this?
Because there was a documentary that showed this somewhere in unfortunate country that isn't America.
Right. Boo.
Yeah, boo. Unless you're one of our listeners, and
Exactly.
buy our merch. And so there was a tsunami that came in, and this person was just like, well, fuck it. Like, if I'm gonna die, like, I'm just gonna get in my car and like hopefully ride it out. The bitch floated.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's
floated
dope.
to safety.
The more you know.
So I have this idea of like a fucking silverback gorilla with a beetle over its head, running like with it's a surfboard, throwing it into the ocean, getting on top of it,
That's
and
dope.
like the Beach Boys.
That's the next shirt right
Everybody's surfing, surfing USA.
I think, if you voted grizzly bear, it's okay to be wrong once in a while, but you're not my friend anymore. So just know that. So what do our guests think? Who wins? Grizzly bear?
I think before we do that, we should probably introduce them.
Well, okay, fair enough. That makes sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Who are our guests today?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. My name's Chris Walton. I'm a retired soldier, and I'm a partner and spokesperson with Pale Horse Coffee.
Right on.
And I'm Don Wingard, retired Navy, and I'm not a spokesperson, but I'm also Pale Horse Coffee.
All right, fantastic. So what do you guys think? Who do you think would win?
I'm definitely going with the silverback. I think there's just no question. As much as I love bears, especially grizzlies, I think the silverback and the previously discussed opposable thumbs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not with the in crowd, so I'm gonna go with the grizzly bear.
There's always one.
There's always
fuck
one.
you guys, unless you can set up a match in the parking lot so we can figure it out. So.
All right. So EP, do you think you could set up a match between a silverback and a grizzly? All right, he's working on that.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't happen, everybody blame him.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm with it.
Yeah. So we have our guests on today, and we actually prepared a little bit before this.
Did you?
Yeah.
You say we, but did you?
Yeah. No, me and EP.
there it
Like
is.
we prepared.
I prepared by drinking.
Just violently hungover as usual.
I don't feel well.
And so we have a few questions that we want to pose to everyone in the group, just to see what's on everybody's mind. And then listeners, feel free to send your answers into us. And if they're entertaining, we'll read them on the next episode.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like sometimes we'll be like, hey, like what do you guys want to hear on the episode? And you're just like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like what am I supposed to do with that?
I do like the vague answers of like more talking, like okay.
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 I like to see more lasagna recipes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out
Okay.
there.
Lasagna.
yeah,
Who knew
absolutely.
that? Lasagna.
So we could do that, man.
Yeah, the sluttiest of all dishes, I feel.
All right, so Mike, I'll start with you.
Okay.
If you could kill a high-level terrorist in any elaborate way during a raid, how would it be? An example, with an e-tool as he comes into a room. Place an incendiary grenade on his balls while he sleeps, or 240 from the hip at 3 feet away.
I want to do like, wow, that's a really good question. What I would do is I would absolutely, I'm speaking up. I would throw down my weapons and we'd square off hand to hand.
Yeah.
And I would just beat his face in, and that's it. That's why I want it to be like he has a weapon, we're pointing at each other, and we both run dry. We hear that click, and we're like, we just shed our gear, just staring at each other's eyes, and then we come to blows.
I'm so fucking aroused right now.
Exactly.
No,
That's it, yeah.
It sounded a little bit more intimate than
Very,
Well, of course,
very
yeah,
intimate.
yeah.
Yeah, because combat's a very intimate thing.
Yeah, it
you
really
know?
is, yeah.
And
So that's my vote, hand to hand.
all right, and so you
There you
thinking like 8 limbs of destruction, little Muay Thai, dropping some elbows.
I'm just thinking just like like barnhouse brawl, just close your eyes and swing kind of thing. Yeah.
But at least have one of your boys there in case he starts whipping your ass.
For sure.
You'd be like,
Yeah.
shoot him.
Always, yeah, shoot him. He's beating the fuck out of him.
There ain't no such thing as a fair fight.
That's
by the
right.
way.
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah, he just takes his opposable thumbs and grabs your
That's right,
balls.
yeah. This guy's strong as a gorilla. Shoot him.
Or a grizzly bear.
Or a grizzly bear.
right,
Right.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Right.
All right, so what would you say?
Well, I'm kind of in the same thought process. I'm more about the setup than the actual method of the kill. I kind of like the idea of one of these guys is like a cornered rat.
Yeah.
They know it's coming, but in the dark they don't know when or from where.
Ooh.
And then
Again.
just a single red dot on their chest.
Yes.
So their last thoughts are, "Oh fuck."
Oh, fuck. I mean, I personally have never seen a red dot in the military because we didn't have the budget. Like, they didn't even be, I never even got a chance to BZO my night optic for my saw. Like, not even once.
You don't need it.
I had a zip tie in my butt stock. Like, we did not get good gear.
Right.
They're just like, hey, we're going to flyer the city, let them know you're coming, and go.
Yeah.
And so what would you say?
I have, just for the record, I have seen the red dots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I'm an avid movie watcher, so I've seen
Perfect,
plenty of them.
Yeah, I just meant not my unit.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
we're too poor for that.
I just saw movies out on the show.
Yeah, there you go.
So I don't know. I had a different answer, but I think Mike's has kind of lured me in. Like now I've got this feeling. So
Yeah.
But I'm a dirty fighter, so
Yeah.
I would start stripping down all that gear, get him doing the same, and then just pick up the gun and shoot him in the face. So it's like mano a mano, you motherfucker, boom, and I'm
That's
done.
funny. I like
So that's
that.
where I would go.
Yeah, like fucking, like you take the mag out of your weapon, he does the same, and you just put it right back in.
Ha ha, motherfucker.
Hey, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, you stupid ass bitch.
Yeah, I love it. That's a great answer.
So I think preferably for me, I would be room clearing, bayonets fixed. I come around the corner, he's right there, but he's kind of at like more of like a port arms carry, you know.
Okay.
And so I just charge. I put the bayonet right in his solar plexus. And I have like a 100-round drum on my M16. Like we had a guy in our unit who had one of those, and the gunny was like, "How many rounds did you shoot in the last firefight?" And he's like, 22. He's like, "Is that still less than 30, bitch?" Like,
Why do you hate me, Gunny?
yeah, but you know, because you should be picking your shots. Like we're not the army, no offense. Like we don't just shoot 10,000 rounds. They're like, we killed them all. Like one shot, one kill.
Yeah.
And unless you're a saw gunner, then it's a lot to the everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I got an extended mag or something. Shout out to Magpul. They make a fantastic 60-round drum.
He always has plugs ready. I love
Right.
it.
I think it's pretty
Always,
badass.
Yeah,
I'm a Magpul
I
fan.
did a review on that
Yeah, you
for
did.
American Military News, and it worked just like a charm. So yeah, all right, bayonet this fucker, flip that shit to burst, and I just start walking it up, and I'm pumping fucking 60 to 100 rounds into him at close
Shredding
range,
him, yeah.
to the point where I could pull the bayonet through his collarbone, and he just like splits in twain,
And you take his rib cage and as a souvenir. Yeah.
and then I fuck him.
God damn.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that was such a great story.
I know he was
until that.
he was doing so well.
Yeah, I'm glad I came before you ended that story.
Yeah, I made a meme that it was like it was like the dude, like the Asian dude driving with like the really big wide eyes.
Right.
And it's like when the infidels like killed all your boys and you're pretending to be dead, and you hear one of them say, "All right, now let's fuck the
Yeah,
corpses."
fuck 'em, yeah.
Yeah, the big wide eyes, like, "Oh fuck." Because at that point, like, what do? You know, like,
Yeah.
do you just lay there and take it, or you try to fight?
I'd assume a fight, but then I've never been in that situation, so I can't speak to that from experience.
Not yet.
Unfortunately. What the fuck?
So that is actually a great setup by me to tie us into the next question.
So humble, so humble.
You know, I spend so much of my life getting shit on. So
That's fair.
give me
You're right.
this,
You
okay?
deserve
Like,
this.
give me this.
You
This is
deserve this.
this is my Super Bowl. All right. So, would you rather give the first 90% of a blowjob or the last 10%?
Oh, easy day. Not first 90%.
Yeah.
The last 10% is easily the gayest. So the first 90%, I mean, it depends how long it is, but the time and the penis.
Wait,
yes.
you're Penis-wise, or-
Yeah, first 90%.
Okay.
For sure.
What would you say?
Oh my God, that's all I can say. I mean,
You were briefed on these questions.
right, and that's all I could think about, from the time I saw that question.
Do I want to do this show?
Right, exactly. And so I'll just say this is, my wife put that question to me this morning after
Oh wow.
after I told her, hey, this is going to be one of the questions on the
Show, yeah.
on the show, and so she said, well.
Well, your wife needs to know.
Yeah.
And for her,
Yeah.
I said the last 10.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So what would you say?
Grizzly bear. So, no, I'm definitely with Mike. I think you gotta.
Yeah.
I just don't want the grand prize.
There it is, yeah,
I want to
exactly.
get the manual labor out of the way and then
That's
let
right.
somebody else step in for the prize. So, yeah.
And see, my thought process in this is that it is literally 1/9 of the amount of time having a dick in my mouth.
Sure, I get that.
So if you say the first 90%, you're kind of volunteering for, 900% more dick in your mouth. I mean, math for Marines don't. I'm not
I
sure
don't
how
think
that works out.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah.
Marine math, right?
We're gonna go ahead.
9 times more. There we go.
Right, there it is.
But then again,
9
that is
crayons,
also
yeah.
Exactly.
that is also 100% more semen in your mouth than the
Right.
first option.
That is true.
Right.
Yeah, so I would probably say that I'd have to go with the first 90%.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, because like the 10% is always like you have to like bear down.
How long were you waiting to do that?
Oh my
Right
goodness!
off the hip.
I mean, that just came
Right
to
off
him.
the
It
hip.
just came
That
to
just
him.
came.
Yeah, so like the last 10%.
Like the last 10%. So yeah, all right. So bam. All right, moving on to the next question. Now we're actually going to be responsible adults.
Oh wow. Okay.
What advice would you give to an 18-year-old going to boot camp?
I actually get this question in my DMs all the time, so I have an answer. No matter what boot camp you're going to, no matter what branch, just do as you're told. That's it. No reason to try and stand out. I mean, I wouldn't say be the gray man because it's boot camp. You don't really need to be. But just do as you're told and learn as much as you can. That's it.
Fair.
Yeah, I like that. I think what I would tell people is be in good physical shape before you get there. I think that's really what separates the great majority of our military from the rest of what's going on in the world is that we're in pretty fair physical condition. And that's the advice I'd give is, hey, get in shape before you get to boot camp or basic training or whatever we're calling it today. And be ready, and you'll have an advantage over others.
Fair. Next one.
So I'm going to go a little bit more branch specific just because
we know the Navy don't do fucking PT.
So
yeah, we
I'll
do.
just ignore that and continue
love it.
talking.
Okay, some of them.
So I had an opportunity to go to Navy boot camp about 3 years ago to tour the place.
Yeah.
Two things that surprised the hell out of me. So one, that the guy said that it's not uncommon to have a broken femur on
Oh, wow.
candidates coming through. Broken femur.
Broken femur.
So
okay.
in the age of I don't go outside and play and milk is the enemy, evidently broken femurs is, kind of the thing they have every week now. So that kind of threw me. Here's the other part. If you're going in the Navy, learn how to fucking swim. You would be amazed how many people are getting held back because they can't fucking swim. Like, what did you think? Like, it's the Navy.
Well, in the Navy, if you're in the water, isn't it like mission failure? Kind of. Like the goal's not to be in the water.
Well, I guess
Yeah,
it
but
depends on your job.
That's
Well, that's true.
This from the guy who swims.
Yeah, but it's Friday. Everybody's trying to hit Miller time. You're the one
Right,
who can't
exactly.
get right.
Right,
True.
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
All right. So, do you have anything else, or is that about covered?
that was it.
That was good.
So I would say, and this does pertain to Marines specifically because it is more of a cult-like environment.
Yeah.
But just generally in the military didn't join you. You joined the fucking military. Nobody asked you to be there. You signed up. You volunteered to be there. So this entitlement attitude that a lot of these boots have these days, that I don't want to work hard, or I just want to skate out and I just want to sham, or whatever the case is. Like, fuck you. Nobody asked you to be here. Like, a better fucking Marine could be in my squad if you hadn't joined.
Right.
And then so also remember that everything you do or fail to do is not only a reflection of you, but of the entire military. So if you fucking are, flying down the highway and you're not paying attention and you get into a fucking accident, then the person's going to see your stupid high and tight come out and they're going to be like, fuck the Marines,
Yeah.
Or if you like bang someone's wife, or if you fucking pop on DUI or drugs or whatever the case is, it's not, PFC asshole that did this. It was a U.S. Marine.
Yeah. That's fair.
So you have to remember that, like, And if you're at a fucking restaurant and they don't give you a military discount, don't flip out.
Yeah.
You know, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So everything you do is, or you don't do, is a reflection of the entire military. So you have to be a good ambassador. You have to be a good steward of that fucking trust and responsibility and that legacy that everybody fucking handed down to you. Because, like, here with us, like, if you have one fucking little thread on your uniform, your senior lance corporal, your E3 is going to be like, Marines didn't die on Iwo Jima, so you could disrespect this uniform.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing everywhere. Like, as a Marine, you are expected to conduct yourself that way 24/7. So the best advice that I could fucking offer is assimilate to the military.
Yeah.
If you don't like something, try your best to change it, but do it in the correct way. Pick up rank. Set the example. Don't be a fucking dickhead. That's the answer to that question.
Yeah, that's really well said.
Yeah,
I gotta
you
say,
read that
I
down.
gotta that deserves some applause from us. I gotta say, that was well done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are there any particular questions that our guests would like to pose to us?
That's a good question.
Well, do you drink coffee?
tell me.
For crying out loud? I mean, come
That's a
on.
good segue.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
which one of you makes better lasagna?
There you go.
I think we could probably ask a few people.
A few people, yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to fill this in. I
Yeah,
mean-
we'll...
Yeah.
Well,
Foreshadowing for
I
next
mean,
week.
just
for next
saying.
week. We'll do it next week.
all right.
We
Okay,
drawn
yeah.
out, but yeah.
Yeah, so just so everybody knows, that was a little story to float around before we got this thing started, and apparently they're gonna make you wait until next week to hear it all.
Yep.
Yeah,
Keep
watch the
guessing.
following
Yeah.
episode.
Right.
To figure that
Tune
out.
in.
Yeah.
So yeah, lasagna lovers everywhere.
Yeah, who knew? I mean, really?
Fucking new. That is surprising.
I mean,
I
it
gotta
is
learn
a
how to cook
delightful dish.
lasagna. So
You can just DoorDash it. It's fine.
And I think that is the biggest difference between you and I.
100%. Yeah.
Homemade lasagna,
Yeah.
DoorDash lasagna.
Oof, that's so true. That's so true.
All right, so yeah, we do. We do drink coffee. Would you recommend anyone?
Anybody locally?
Yeah, any local companies?
yeah. So obviously
Derek,
Bell
maybe.
Horse. We brought a bag today. This is our newest high caffeinated coffee.
Boom.
Right on.
Yeah, we're right now we're roasting out of Missouri, but we're looking for a place local here. We think we might have somewhere locked down, so we're getting ready to set up locally. and
EP
start
Mike's
roasting.
butthole.
That's right.
That's correct.
There's plenty of room.
There's a lot of room in there.
It gets roasted pretty often. Spit roasted. Oh.
Pinch their company.
I think they get the gist.
yeah.
Oh, EP Mike got the gist already.
Yeah, no doubt.
Last 10% of it.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And so, we had a lot of positive feedback to his story last week.
We did actually. I'm
Yeah.
surprised. Yeah.
You surprised?
I'm surprised there's so many squirrel killers out there
Yeah.
that enjoy him hitting a squirrel to death. So
Yeah. And unfortunately, PETA did not
no,
levy charges.
they're scared of VP as they should be.
Yeah, so we got a lot of good feedback to that, but yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, we drink coffee, and I think for me the biggest reason that I don't drink more coffee is I'm too lazy to clean out the pot.
It's fair.
And yeah,
Yeah,
so,
I gotta agree. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
so I just gotta stop being cheap and buy like a coffee machine that's like easier to clean, because right now I have a percolator.
That's a great way to drink it, though. I mean,
Yeah, it is hard to clean.
yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, because I kind of grew accustomed to it because I wanted coffee that wasn't shitty fucking like Folgers MRE coffee, and so I had my family send me a percolator, so we'd like start little fires on our patrol bases out in the fucking middle of nowhere, so nobody cared. And we put a little percolator on it, and now we have hot cups of coffee.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of the nostalgia, but I know I need to grow up and get like an actual fucking
Right.
coffee machine.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I might have to hang on to that percolator.
Yeah,
just
for sure.
just hearing that just brings back a few memories for myself.
Yeah, but like looking back at it, like the instant coffee, and it wasn't so much like the flavor or whatever. It was just like the idea of having that like comfort. You
Right.
know? That I'm gonna drink this, and I'm gonna actually be able to stay awake for posts or be more vigilant in the turret. And you said that particular blend was high caffeine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, for all you fucking crack addicts out there.
This guy,
about the size
I
of
love
it, too.
high caffeine,
Yeah.
Yeah, who can't just fucking handle normal doses anymore.
Nope.
Destroyed your
It's either
bodies.
this or drugs. So I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like this is healthier.
Yeah, and as a good representative of the U.S. Navy, you don't do drugs.
That's right.
correct.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
Of course.
Is C4 still illegal, or did they bring it back?
The original C4 is, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I actually don't think they make the same way they used to. But
Yeah, because the original
still
one had like jaguar shavings.
it had like legit shit in it.
Yeah, it was fucking insane.
I remember the first time I tried that, I was on deployment in 2011, I think, and I was on the 22nd Muse. I was on the ship, and one of my Marines gave it to me, and he's like, RP, you're gonna fucking love this. And I was like, okay. And then I was just gonna go for like a run on the treadmill because there's not much to do on the ship, and so I went on the treadmill, and then like 45 minutes later, I was like, I'm gonna go forever. Like I can't stop running. I was like, I don't think I've started yet.
He's the fastest man alive.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could get a military contract with this stuff.
Yeah.
Be like, Chief, I want to do my PRT right
Yeah,
now.
exactly, yeah. I'll do the whole ship's PRT right now.
I'll do everybody's.
Just have somebody stand by with a
Exactly,
pencil.
Yeah.
So,
I think this might be a hair
Yeah,
less
right,
than that.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
so what led you to want to go into business, especially like as a veteran?
Well, I would tell you, obviously all of us have lived off coffee. You just reminisced fondly about it, and as a sailor, I'm used to drinking the mud sludge in the bottom of the giant container on the mess decks at like 2 a.m. So it's really part of our culture in the military. And it was something that I just loved, and I wanted to continue it outside. And leaving the military, this is also our connection to still stay with it. The majority of our customer base, there's a lot of patriots that order, but a lot of them are veterans and active duty. So it was a way to stay connected, have fun, and make something that we all love. And we try to do it all with good shit. A lot of high calf stuff has extracts and chemical shit put in it. Ours isn't. We just played around with the beans until we figured it out. And don't get excited when I say we played around with beans. Until we got it right. He's still thinking last 10%.
Yeah. So, and what would you say drove you to want to go into business?
In all honesty, I never really had much interest in it until a buddy of ours came to me and said, "Hey, I'm involved with this really cool coffee company," and a big part of it for us, so one of the main pillars of the company, is that we give back. We give back to charitable causes. We have a line of coffee called Coffee for a Cause. Yeah. And we donate 50% of all proceeds of every sale of that bag with that nonprofit's label to that nonprofit. So
fantastic.
Yeah, we give them 50% of it, and that's really one of the biggest things that drew me into the company, that it was going to give back to causes that matter to us. Those are primarily military causes. Our most recent one is called Pennies for Quarters. It's out in the Pacific Northwest, and they're doing one of these tiny home villages for homeless veterans. Yeah, and
like quarters, like
living
quarters.
Yeah. Right, living quarters.
I thought you meant like pennies for quarters with
marijuana.
No.
How many
that's a
do I order?
good spot for that. But this is
I was about to move to Washington.
This is a charity that's founded and run by a former soldier of mine from my earliest days in the Army.
Yeah.
And an interesting little side note to that story is when I retired from Fort Lewis, Washington, and he was living in Port Angeles as a Border Patrol officer, and he came to my retirement ceremony 20 plus years later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of a neat story, and when he approached me a while back and said, "Hey, I'm going to do this nonprofit," I immediately thought, yeah, we're going to find a way to work this into Coffee for a Cause. And so that's just one of our latest. We've got a couple other brand new ones that just came out. One of them's local Pennies for Paws.
Yeah, so where can they find you then? What's your website, social media?
So, PaleHorseCoffee.com is the website, and then Instagram, Pale Horse Coffee. Facebook, I think it's Pale Horse Coffee Co.
Cool. Okay.
Or you just go to the website and just click down at the bottom. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, just Google it, you animals.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
If
Everybody
you can't
knows
figure
Google.
that out, you probably can't buy coffee anymore. So.
Speaking of buying stuff, time to plug our sponsors.
Go ahead.
Combat Comb Over, fantastic hair products, pomade, beard oil. I think Horny Goat Weed, has that launched yet?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, not yet, but stay tuned.
Always stay tuned.
Use our discount code CREAMPIE to save money. Then also check out Strikeforce Energy, liquid to go into your water bottles. Into your alcohol is where we most likely put it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, use our discount code SMOKEPIT to save yourself some money. Also check out VictorAlphaClothing.com. They also donate a lot to veteran causes. So to bring it back into us, what advice would you give to veterans who are not looking to work in corporate America, but rather to, you know, join a company like yours or to start their own? What advice would you give them?
Well, I will tell you, this is my third year of doing this, so I've had a lot of time to kind of play around with this stuff. Use your GI Bill if you can. Go get your degree or whatever. But I will tell you, I'm not a college guy. I like going to college. But I'm just saying, I don't feel you have to in America. You have to go get them, and then you got to figure shit out. So believe it or not, the majority of, maybe that's where we're going wrong, but the majority of what I figured out for social media, for marketing, for advertising is done via podcasts. I have listened to podcasts day and night on every drive, you know, taking notes, not while I'm driving, of course.
Oh, of course not.
Right.
Right, yeah.
I bring a stenographer with me. You know, it's just because I want it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but for those of you who aren't 87, that's the person who types in a courtroom.
Okay. All right then.
Yeah, exactly,
Fuck you and the
Yeah. So, all right. So, getting your degree, doing your homework, getting your, doing the research, seeing what other people are doing, what works, what doesn't.
And network. Networking is the biggest one. Everywhere I go, whether I can work with them or not, I'm going to make sure they know who I am, what I do, and how I can help them.
You know what a great networking opportunity is, Michael?
What's that?
Burbiz.
Fucking Burbiz.
Coming up in Washington, D.C.
That's right.
I'm getting so
August
old.
14th.
August
Yeah, what are you
14th.
doing?
August. It's a
August.
new month.
August 14th, Washington, D.C. Go to burbiz.com to register for free. There's an open bar for 4
Exactly.
hours
Get
doing
drunk with me.
giveaways. You can
Yay.
fight EP Mike.
Finally.
Yeah. It's just... yeah, it's a great time. And we're doing one here in October 9th.
October 9th, that's right.
Yeah, and we're looking for local companies to come out and rep.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
If you guys know anybody, let
Yeah,
us know.
right.
We'll have to think about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, not only putting up like a booth or whatever, but then also like creating like a network that you can mentor young military members who are transitioning out and wanting to start a business. Here in a few days, I'm going up to the Bravo conference with Scott Davidson and hosting. I'm going to be hosting a breakout session for social media, kind of teaching people, you know, how to really target that demographic because it's all military entrepreneurs and, targeting the post 9/11 military demographic is very fucking difficult.
Yes, it is.
Because for the most part, everybody thinks that they're all fucking Rambo. Everybody's got a big dick. And not saying that they don't have...
Go ahead, yeah.
and not saying that, they don't have, rights to be confident, but you have to bring your A game.
Of course.
You can't fucking... It's not like one of these, like, hipster artists that they post, like, an abstract picture of, like, a fucking... Acorn or something. Right. It's like 1 million fucking likes.
Yeah.
No, if you don't bring your A game every time, your followers will fucking let you know.
100%.
That was a good acorn picture, though.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it was Mike's
The dude with the egg? Like the dude with the egg. Did you ever see that one?
Yeah, it's huge, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so targeting that post 9/11 demographic is obviously, you want to sell your product to all veterans, but more specifically, the post 9/11 ones are the more so who are online, on social media, more of those veterans, because that was, 18 years ago, so that's a very encompassing group, and it doesn't mean that you had to start your career, but a lot of people who started 5, 10, 20 years before that, but ended after or around that time, they're in that category too. So targeting that group, what advice would you offer to anybody who is trying to build their social media and target that group?
That's a good question. I'm not sure it relates exactly to the social media portion. It does because social media is work. In all honesty, when you're using it as your marketing tool, social media is work. I spend a lot of time on Twitter, which I'll tell you that I hate. Facebook, I don't do the Instagram quite as much, but the reality is that's work, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier. You got to be willing to work for something. If you want a business to succeed or whatever it is you're doing, you got to be willing to work for it. And that means shedding that entitlement attitude I think that you were talking about a little bit earlier. You're not entitled to anything because you served your country. You raised your hand and you volunteered. We all did. So you're not entitled to anything. You got to get out there and work and make it happen.
The only thing you're entitled is to these monos.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you just on that too, be yourself and be genuine. Those are two things that people can see through bullshit very quickly.
Yep.
So
No question.
I saw tons of veteran-owned companies that have come up and gone away who tried to be an established company, you know, in the veteran community. They wanted to act like them. That doesn't work. You know, be yourself, be genuine, and then care about people. Because a lot of times you guys get it too. I mean, we have 12,000-ish followers, I think. But I still get every now and then I post something and it just says fantastic with fireworks. And I know that's some automated bullshit making a comment on and I'll just block them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So by genuine, I mean, every hour I'll grab my Instagram and I literally go through it and I'll look and I'll make a comment that means something, not just bullshit. So you got to be genuine. I think kids today, and not even kids, I mean, people back 34 years old, they want genuine. They want you to be yourself. So
that's true. I mean, I try to slide in their DMs and clap some cheeks.
Of course,
right?
You know,
I mean, if they're commenting on my profile,
well,
fantastic.
They're clearly in love with you.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a method for sure.
I'm sorry, we don't all have like crazy fan base with YouTube pages dedicated to us.
Well, I do, so I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, one of them. Yeah.
Very passionate fan.
Very, very passionate fans, plural.
One passionate fan.
Yeah, and that's something that is true. You have to find your voice and in your niche and figure out how to be yourself. Because in the military, you know, you'll get together and you start bullshitting and cussing and fucking reminiscing stories, and you really kind of see that like that tribe mindset start to come back. And so like, how do you convince people who are not part of your current tribe to join it? You know, how do you get them to support you? And because there's so many different companies out there for so many different things, and you know, you only, especially if you're active duty, you only have so much fucking money. And so I think you're saying like having that personal interaction, being able to comment something meaningful and interact with your fans, that builds a little bit more loyalty. And so we appreciate all the fans who message us. We try to message back as many as we possibly can.
Absolutely do.
We respond to comments. We always appreciate it. We're going to be doing a giveaway here soon, just as a thank you to everyone. It'll be one of each of our 3 shirts that we have on the website. Military Grade Alcoholic is the one I'm wearing. We have the Smoke Pit podcast t-shirt that Mike is wearing. I'm sorry. And then we also have the Smoke Grenade tank tops that we have there as well. And so we're going to be giving out one of 3 to our lucky winner with some stickers, and also a used pair of Mike's underwear.
That's pretty much what they want. That's the real money maker.
Love stains included.
Yeah.
And so keep an eye out for that, and send EP Mike any questions. If you have it, don't bother me.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm kidding.
Don't bother Dave.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, and so that's just our way of saying thank you to our fans. And we try to bring different companies and different people on the show and give them the opportunity to tell their story, because we've had we have like hundreds of thousands of Iraq and Afghan veterans get EASing and ETSing every year. And so there's so many untold stories. And it just blows my mind that like 1% of ancient literature survived till now. And so like, think about how many untold stories there were from that career. And it didn't all have to be like, fucking bayoneting someone and all that stuff. But just like some crazy shit that happened on fucking ship, like a capsule malfunction, or there's a fire, or a failure in a fucking system, or whatever the case is. EP Mike shitting in a foxhole. Like, like there's so many untold stories, and we want to hear them. Because absolutely. At the end of the day, if we don't keep records of our own accounts, then who will?
Well said.
Yeah, absolutely agreed.
All right, Mike, you want to carry the rest of the show?
How much time we got?
How much time is
I think about 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I do want to pose a question. Now, having hung out with us for about 35 minutes or so, if you guys were going to make a Smoke Pit blend, how would you label it? Just from our personalities. I like to ask people this.
Man.
Yeah.
So,
I know. I'm looking.
I will say I do like that. I really do. I think it's
excellent.
That gives a lot, but you don't want that. I don't know, maybe just an asshole on a bag. I mean, we could call it a black hole blend, but everybody would know what it is, right? Because they've watched the podcast.
Yeah, it's just right. It's all caffeine.
And it's old, like burnt coffee.
That's right. Yeah, it's used coffee grounds
because you're gonna percolate it anyways.
That's actually,
right.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I can't top that, so I'm not going to say
like
anything.
This.
I can't.
I do like this. I think that was good.
Yeah, for our listeners, he's pointing to the flag, and if you're not listening or you're not watching our Instagram or our YouTube channel, correct yourself.
Nice.
And yeah, okay. So, what would you say for flavor wise? We're talking hazelnut, French vanilla
Anything
cream.
Anything with the word nut in it, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd go with a
something
flavor.
Fruity. Maybe something fruity. I don't know.
What profile would you give us?
Fruity may work.
Yeah,
it might work.
Yeah. Hey, just while we're on it, thanks for segueing me to it.
You're welcome.
So one thing that does make us a little different, I think, than other companies is we do carry 19 different flavored coffees.
Hell
Right?
yeah.
So we have everything from Southern whiskey to birthday cake to
Nice.
Mike's underwear.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
That could
That
be a
one's coming
new
out
one.
soon.
That one's coming
That
soon.
one's coming
Mike's
soon.
underwear coming
love
soon.
it.
Pale Horse Coffee.
I'm 100%. Like, I'll help fund it. Like, let's do this.
Did we just make a deal?
We may have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you wake up in the morning, you brew yourself a pot of coffee, and you put it in your mouth, and what experience are you putting into your mouth to remind you of this podcast? Because I asked a question.
Yeah,
and
exactly. Well, we can't ask questions.
you deflected, so I'm coming back to it.
Yeah, I don't even know where to go with that.
Yeah.
That's, can that just be an audience question? I'd rather read it.
Yeah, I'd love to read the replies to that.
We'll send it out.
Anybody who wants to reply to that question, let us know.
audience.
Send it in from the audience.
Yeah.
What kind of coffee you think these guys should have? What should it taste like? And keeping in mind Mike's used underwear.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
It'll be a key factor for sure. Yeah.
Mike's boxer underwear.
Right, boxers,
Something like that.
whatever it is he's wearing.
I don't wear underwear, so this is a moot point.
Which it could also kind of be like
coffee.
like Mike's underwear / Maggie's drawers. Did you guys have that term?
I know that term. Yeah, absolutely.
It's an old term.
Yeah, it's an old term, but it's a good one.
That's
yeah.
for the iron sights.
Yeah, no kidding. Back in the iron sight days. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was basically just a term that was used in the old range, like and so I've heard it two ways. The way that I was most commonly referred to it as is there was like a red stick that you waved in certain occasions, depending on whatever the SOP was at the time. Like, you either completely miss the fucking target, or you spin it if your target's in repair. And then I also heard people refer to it as the range flag. Like, they hung, Molly's drawers, and that's what you make your wind call off of.
Oh, okay.
So, but I primarily heard it as like the popsicle. Because like they had like a stick, and they'd put put somebody's underwear on it, and like that would be the signaling tool.
Okay.
They would wig-wag, just like Sergeant Major Quick did in Guantanamo Bay to receive the Medal of Honor.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal.
Right.
So how did you hear that term used? In what context?
For me, I read about it in a series of books called The Core.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read those books or not, but
I
they're
can't
by
read.
you can't read.
No.
I'm pretty sure he wrote them in crayon, so there's a possibility.
Audio books, my friend.
Right. Yeah.
Can I hear
So
about it?
yeah, for some of you younger folks out there, there's a couple of series by a guy by the name of W.E.B. Griffin. They are historical fiction. They're extremely accurate and incredibly well written. If you're a reader, or if you can't read, there's always audio.
Yeah.
But they're great stories, and one of them was about the Marine Corps, one's about the Army. I think there's another one that might be about the Philadelphia Police Department or something to that effect. But he's one of my all-time favorite writers, and that's where I heard that term "Maggie's Drawers" out of The Core by W.E.B. Griffin. Yeah.
And how did he use it?
He was telling stories of Marines on the range.
Yeah.
And one of the stories was about one of the primary characters had gotten his way into whatever they called OCS at the time. They were sending him. He was a corporal, and they were sending him to become an officer. And he had previously had experience with the range officer and had clashed with that particular officer, who in the story is, pretty much a dirtbag. And anyway, on the range, he happens to be the range officer, and so this kid is shooting, and he's a recognized expert marksman from his enlisted days. And meanwhile, Maggie's Drawers keeps waving every time he sends a round down range. And there's another character in that series who's what they call a legendary sergeant major, who kind of figured out what the heck was happening and got the officer sent on the direction he should be going, and got the kid qualified. But they mentioned Maggie's Drawers a number of times.
No impact, no idea. And then they waste a popsicle.
Okay.
Yeah, so locally here we have a range. We have several ranges, and the Marines aren't there anymore. But there was a range here that Sergeant Gunny Hathcock, Carlos Hathcock. Yeah, he worked at as a civilian.
No kidding.
And so legendary Marine Corps sniper. He's buried here. Occasionally, the crew and I will go out and have a drink at his grave, clean the headstone, stuff like that, to show our respect. And he was the guy who shot the enemy sniper through the scope. Like, they based that part in, I think it was Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, off of him in real life. And so he's buried here. And after his career, he worked at the range on one of the bases here. And So I was talking to this guy who was the OIC of the range, and so he'd have like these fresh, second lieutenant boots, and they'd be qualifying 45s. And so this lieutenant just can't get right. He's like, oh, it's not me, it's the gun. The sights are off, the action, blah 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 blah. And so Carlos Hathcock, legendary marksman, worked there, and so they had a game that they would play. That whenever a lieutenant was complaining that it was the weapon, he'd be like, I bet I could teach any old civilian how to do this. And then he'd be like, hey, you. And like Carlos, and he's a small, unassuming guy, And he'd be like, what, me?
Yeah.
And he just kind of like putter over, and he's like, here, you take this pistol, which you can't do now. Like people freak the fuck out. But he's like, all right, square your shoulders, do this, snap the sights to your eyes, not your eyes, whatever. And if you know how to shoot, then Google it. Or pay Mike and he'll teach you.
Yeah. Well, oh, sure. Yeah. whatever.
Yeah. If you're a young lady under or over the age of 18.
Jesus.
I'm kidding. Yeah. So he would bring Carlos Hathcock over and be like, watch, I can show this civilian. And, he gives him like 2 seconds of instruction and then just black.
That's so funny. Yeah.
And he's just keyholing these fucking targets. And the lieutenants get all pissed off. It's like, see, it's not the gun, it's you.
That's fantastic. I never heard that story. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I hadn't either. That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so granted, he's expert marksman, but if it's oftentimes it's not the tool, it's the operator, it's the user.
Very true.
Always.
You have to be 10% smarter than the gear you're working with.
That's right.
Is what AJ always tells me.
Yeah. Anything AJ says can be counted as gold. So that's fair.
And so, go ahead.
No, you said he was buried here locally. Where's it at?
Norfolk, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Very
Okay,
cool.
I did not know that.
And
That's very
also Carl Bashir, the guy that Cuban Gooding Jr. played, and
the Navy diver.
Yeah,
Right.
Men of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's also buried here locally.
Yeah.
And it's always cool when people go to grave sites of Jesse Puller or Audie Murphy, whatever the case may be, and just think like they were real men, like flesh and blood, just like us. And smaller penises, but
For
just
sure.
Right.
men like us.
100%. 100%.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm just saying,
So, what was funny is you talking about that. I could hear that that respect in your voice, and I think that it underlines what you said about going to boot camp earlier, right? That you're joining that great organization. It's not joining you. Maybe that's some good advice too. Is read some of these books, learn about some of these great men who have fought and died for the country and what they've done.
Yeah.
Because I think that you got to have some pride in you, anyways, to go to boot camp, or you're in the wrong fucking business.
Yeah.
But if that doesn't swell it a little bit more, then and calm down when I say swell it. But still,
right?
I'm just
Impossible.
saying. I mean, you're talking about a man that I know about, but it still gives me the chills, man. It's like that's a badass American.
Yeah,
Gotta
sure
love
is.
it.
That's a great story too.
Yeah. So if you had any books to recommend, what would you say?
Already recommended yours, so
Yeah, absolutely, go for it. I mean,
damn it. Was it one fish, two fish?
Redfish,
Red fish, blue fish? No.
Yeah.
A classic.
Yeah, I would say Garrett Jones, but he hasn't made his books available in the U.S. yet.
I bought it.
What?
Yeah.
He told me they were the new one.
Yeah.
What? Oh my God, Garrett, you fight
Shout
me.
out, Garen.
Yeah,
I
so
actually got 2. You want one?
yeah.
I'll give you one.
His books are available now. So
Why are you plugging Garen?
yeah, check out. I mean, because he's an author friend of ours.
Yeah,
Like you
that's
animal.
fair, that's fair. He did
Oh
give
gee,
me
if only I
books.
knew somebody who wrote a book.
Yeah. It's a different one.
Yeah, so you can also check out Red Platoon by our good friend, Medal of Honor recipient Quentin Romshaw.
Yeah.
great book.
Oh, cool.
Great
Yeah.
book and an incredible story.
Yeah, if you're free, feel free to come up to DC. He'll be there for Burbas.
I heard
Also,
about that earlier. I don't.
Yeah.
also feel free to check out Echo and Ramadi.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
read
that
that
was a
one
pretty
too.
good book.
Yeah, it's a fantastic book. I
Yeah,
read
so
it.
make sure to check that one out as well. And yeah, so do we have any closing thoughts before we end out the episode?
Yeah, just a quick commercial break. We were talking about ranges and that sort of thing. So it brought to mind the fact that you can get our coffee locally at Freedom Shooting Center in Virginia Beach. They carry it for us. Yeah, and if you're a shooter, it's a great place to go and get a little bit of trigger time. I'll say that, give them a little plug because I used to work there and there's a great group of people there.
Nice.
But yeah, they've got the coffee on the floor and you can walk in and get a bag.
Yeah, and then also our other partner that's not here today, our Coast Guard presence. He also owns Primo Cigars downtown Norfolk, and so that's another location that you can get it right across from the Scope. You can't miss it. It's the one with the giant trolley setting in the parking lot.
Right outside, yeah. It's a
inside
really
Southern
cool
Eats.
little place to go grab a really nice cigar. He sells great stuff down there, along with the coffees on the floor in the shop down there.
Beautiful.
Good stuff.
Fantastic.
Win-win.
Mike, do you have any thoughts to close us out?
Nope. Just need more beer to get me through the day. That's it.
All right, so make sure you check out our website, popsmokemedia.com, to purchase all of our latest merchandise and send us pictures of you wearing it. We absolutely love seeing that. We try to repost. We love the pictures of people
Yeah, that's right.
taking pictures.
Extra small, please. Yeah.
The people taking pictures of their their Sirius XM, their Alexa, their iTunes, whatever the case is, wherever they listen to us, and putting whatever caption and feedback they had to the episode. We absolutely love that. We feel like you guys are just as much a part of this show as we are.
100%.
Yeah, because we we take crazy stories from people that we either meet through the podcast and social media, and we talk about it on here.
That's what we do.
Yeah, it's a smoke pit, and that's who we are, and it's what we do.
So I got one last thing, if I could,
Yeah.
real quick. So one thing I will do, you guys are pretty awesome. So when you do your giveaway, we'll also throw in a bag of coffee for those winners.
Beautiful. Hey.
And
Nice.
then I'm going to get EP to take a picture of us afterwards.
Yeah.
I will post it on Instagram after this episode airs.
Yeah.
And then for anybody who reposts it, you'll enter a giveaway too. We'll send you a T-shirt, some coffee, and a cup.
Good
How about
shit.
that?
That's how you network right there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what we're
Good
talking
shit.
about.
That was beautiful.
And, yeah, just a big thanks to you guys for having us on today.
Yeah,
It's
thanks
been
for
it's been a
having us.
lot of
Yeah,
fun,
yeah.
and I don't think I get to spend enough time around fellow veterans. So it's been a lot of fun
awesome.
hanging with you guys
Awesome.
today. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we appreciate having you here. Thank you to EP Mike for helping us set this up. And it's our pleasure to try to get veteran companies on here. And like co-host Mike always says, if we're not bonding together to support each other and lift each other up, then who will?
I do say that a lot.
Do you say that all the time?
I said it like twice. But it's all
You
right.
get it on your license
Yeah,
plate
yeah.
if you can.
Yeah, he's actually going to get that tattooed on him.
I will be at the tattoo convention next week, by the way.
Oh,
Are you
yeah.
going?
Depends on the date.
Fair enough.
When is it?
It's the 9th to the 11th.
No, I'll be at Bravo.
That's right.
Is that here?
Yeah, and the convention center.
Okay.
Oh, and if you get a picture of co-host Mike tattooed on you, we will repost it.
Is that like Steve-O? Now, is he going to get one of himself is the question.
I might. There's room.